Beautiful astrology soulmates, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of August 5th, where this week we're not only going to see Mercury step into its retrograde, so we already have a shift of energy that's coming at the beginning of the week, but it's also coming on the heels of just having the new moon in Leo. So really, as we're coming into the week, the energy is a bit extroverted as we're coming in, but it's also beginning to turn backwards. We're becoming very reflective at the beginning of this week. Now, we're also going to have two particularly long void of course moon periods this week, and we are really going to talk about that because one of them is over 24 hours long, and woof, sometimes it's really great. We take the opportunity to rest, to remember that the universe is kind, and just kind of put down what we've been doing. But when a void of course moon period gets really long, the head game can get really real, and it's you're thinking you're a problem in search of a cause. You're thinking of things and what could it be, and the uncertainty, and all of these energies can come up. And where would they be primarily focused? Mercury retrograde, things from the past. I didn't do well enough. I wasn't good enough. Like these kinds of things. So we are going to talk about those two particularly really long periods because they are really impactful. And as we close out this week, we're going to stay reflective, because we're going to see the moon after this very long void of course period shift into the energy of Scorpio to take us all the way through Sunday and getting us to next week. So this is a week of reflection. And the reflection may not be just as light and easy as we normally love it to be, but it will be reflection nonetheless. All right, beautiful friends, if we haven't met before, I'm practicing professional astrologer Stormie Grace. I practice evolutionary and humanistic astrology. So if you like that kind of astrology, this is the spot for you. Now, before we jump in here and get started, if you are ready to learn some astrology, I've got a class starting here September 3rd. And the thing I love about this class right now is that you're getting to get in while it's being built. You get 6 weeks of live group coursework for $67. And the last group, they actually got 7 weeks because I decided we needed another lesson, and they were thrilled to have it. So if you took the course last time as well, to you, thank you for joining me. And it's happening this way right now because I am creating my legacy. I am creating the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy, which is my school. So as I'm building the content and getting everything put together, I want you guys to come in and learn with me and learn from me, so you get in at the rate while it's being built, okay? So if that's you, you're ready to learn, you need to go deeper into aspects, you need more practice with transits, you need to go deeper into the decans, you need to go into the lunar phases. This is going to be the class that is for you, especially if you're not completely sure how to put it all together. Because at the Grace Astrological Fluency Academy, what we are going to focus on is you being able to read, write, and to speak astrology. So if that's you, description box down below. Okay, into the week we go. So first of all, here we are, Monday, we're going along, and then we're going to get to 9:15 a.m. Mountain Time, Colorado time. So please make sure that you adjust your clock, going all the way until 3:16 p.m. So this is several hours that we're getting in the day, and the moon is void, of course, at this time. So this is going to be the time, you know, earlier in the day, if you were up, the moon was in Leo and you were living your best life, you know, it was much more extroverted, a much more free energy. But now, before the moon gets done with this Leo energy and can move into Virgo, it's not making any contact with anything. So the energy is very still. It's not a lot of clarity in terms of forming things that are new. You can't always, you know, the way I think I'd like to describe it just a little bit is if you're trying, especially to move something forward, it's like you're walking in the fog a little bit, right? Things are not clear. You know there's a pathway there, but your mind starts playing tricks on you. What about this dark spot down the road? So it can be a really nebulous kind of energy. So instead, what we want to do on Monday is remember that, you know, we just planted seeds of intention for the things we'd like to confidently build, new energy we'd like to bring into our lives on Sunday. Sit with that. Be with that on Monday. Reflect. What would you need to do, change, give up, add in order to really make this commitment to this new direction in your life. It's a great time for finishing up things. It is not a good time at all for starting new things, because typically you start something during the void of course period, and as soon as the void of course period is over, that thing starts to disintegrate like cotton candy. It's really so sad and disappointing, but it is a great time to rest, be easy, be still, finish up what needs to be done. Now, when we get to that 3:16 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to see the moon shift into the vibration of Virgo, okay? So for those of you who have a moon in Virgo, this is your lunar return. So definitely be aware of what your lunar return themes are for the month. And if you haven't checked out my lunar return video to understand why you would care about that at all, I'll make sure I put it at the end of this video so you can check it out and see if that resonates with you, okay? But for the rest of us, and for all of us, you're going to be looking at the Virgo house in your chart right now, and emotionally what's coming up for you. One of the first questions that we ask when the moon moves into Virgo is, where can I let go of analysis paralysis? Where am I just thinking too much instead of feeling? I'm thinking about what I'm feeling instead of feeling what I'm feeling. Virgo is an earth energy. Be with your feelings during this time. Be with what you're connecting with. Be with what you're not connecting with anymore. Be with how it feels to be in your own home, in your own space, in your own body. Do you feel organized? Do you feel vibrant and vital? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel like you are on top of your chores and your everyday things that are of service to your life? Because those will also play brilliantly into your emotional health, security, and contentment. Now, quite practically speaking, which Virgo likes, it's also just a great time to do your chores. You know, I put up this short last year, which was actually, I think it was 2 years ago now, but it's really funny because it's like I'm sitting around wondering about what my purpose is in life. And I know you guys know what I'm talking about. And meanwhile, I haven't done the dishes. I haven't done the laundry. I need to make that phone call to make and or cancel that appointment, right? It's like with the moon in Virgo for this next couple days, because the energy's a little bit more slow and reflective anyways, go ahead, get on top of it, do that laundry, make that phone call, and definitely bring something delicious. Bring some lemongrass, bring some lavender into your diet, into your aromatics and your space. And that's a great day to spend this couple days with this Virgo energy. Now, when we get to the 6th on Tuesday, it's pretty quiet. We're going to continue with this Virgo vibration. So also depending on what other aspects are being made in your own particular chart to this moon, that's something that you can very much so consider. But we will also be having that Mercury is going retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde. It's August 5th. Here we are. We have arrived. Mercury is going retrograde at 4 degrees of Virgo. Now, the Mercury retrograde cycle really began July 16th, okay? So July 16th, Mercury moved into its pre-retrograde shadow time at 21 degrees of Leo. So you're watching your chart between 4 degrees of Virgo and 21 degrees of Leo. What houses are these happening in for you? Or if you use whole sign, it might be a little bit easier to identify, but what houses are being impacted by this retrograde for you? Because between July 16th going all the way until September 11th of this year, these are going to be the areas that are under review, and the review starts today. The review starts right here on the 5th. We're going to have that Virgo moon. We're going to have Mercury retrograde in Virgo. All of this is playing into the vibration of what we're working with as we go through Tuesday. So while Tuesday is particularly quiet, there are those reflections on the table, okay? When we get to Wednesday, still got that beautiful Mercury retrograde that's just come on us, but we're also going to see that the sun is in a sextile to Jupiter. I love it, because the sextile means that there's a pocket of opportunity, but with a sextile, you have the pocket of opportunity. It's right there. It's ripe. It's ready for you, but you intelligently take action to go towards it, right? You're in motion with a sextile. You're like, whoa, if I don't do this, this is not going to fit together. So you're in action, and I love it. So first of all, choose Wednesday to say yes. Choose Wednesday to say yes. Yes, I want to have health in my life. I want to have wealth in my life. I would like to willingly increase something in my life. That's a very Jupiterian concept, right? I am willing to have mentorship. I am willing to be taught. Jupiter's in Gemini. It's a great day, I would say, for not necessarily signing papers, but reviewing papers that need to be signed. However, here's the thing. Let's say that you had a contract or something that was already ongoing. Comes to the table this week, Mercury's retrograde, you're reviewing that document, but you need to re-sign it before the Mercury retrograde is over. This would be the day that I would say to do it if you can, because under this particular energy, first of all, it's beneficial for the fine print, right? And the Mercury retrograde will have brought a concept or a contract back to you because it's time for the review. What was in that contract in that way maybe it's not going to fit what's going to be going on going forward. So if I had to pick a day, based on the general, I would use this particular day. Now, we have already seen this as well, March 7th. So go back in your life, go back in your chart. What was happening for you on March 7th? Were there some things that came up, maybe some decisions you were thinking about making? Now, also on Wednesday, we're going to see that Mercury and Venus come into a conversation. Venus recently just moved into that vibration of Virgo just back on Sunday. So now Mercury is going to be in a crossing paths with Venus here. But because Mercury is retrograde, the concept that comes up for me is whether it is financial, it's about value, it's about relationships, it's about any of these things where we need to harmonize in some way, especially in that Virgo vibration. I really think that Venus wants to make peace here. You know, Venus is like, let's pour out some forgiveness, put some healing salve on this particular topic. We need some harmony here. Mercury's retrograde. I see things from a different perspective. You see things from a different perspective. You know, Jupiter is over here in the sextile with the sun. It's got expansion. So we even expand our minds. We outgrow old thinking that we had, and we can see things from a different perspective. So all in all, I do think that Mercury-Venus conversation, in addition to the Jupiter and Sun sextile, the Sun-Jupiter sextile, let me say that correctly, is really a good day for if you needed to resolve something, you needed to give forgiveness that you've been denying, if you needed to have any kind of solution so that the harmony in your life is really good and really on. I think that that's a great day to be looking at that. Which I think further extends into our vibration of Thursday, because we're going to have a very short void of course moon period on Thursday. It's just going to be from 2:39 a.m. to 3:31 a.m. So for many of you, and again, that's Colorado Mountain Time, for many of you, you may be asleep, but our overnight workers, if you are up, remember, put it down. Just work on what you've got going on right in front of you. Keep your head where your hands are. Be easy during this particular time. But then after that, the moon is going to roll into the vibration of Libra for the next couple days. So we've just seen Venus get this connection with Mercury and have this healing. It's in a place where Venus wants to love. She's like, I want to get priorities straight. I want to be organized. I want to be of service to the relationships in my life, the money in my life. And now the moon here is in a Venus-ruled sign. So really, truly, there's a lot of connection to wanting to find balance and harmony in our lives at the end of the week. You know, I mean, I guess it's not fully the end. It's Thursday. I feel like Thursday is like pre-Friday Eve. We're almost there, okay? So as we're looking at this as well, it's a great time over the next couple days to look at where do you need to rebalance in your relationships. You know, is there too much of you going on? Is there too much of the other person? Where does there need to be this rebalancing? Where are you really being yourself and also allowing other people to be themselves? One of the things I like to think about as well when the moon is traveling through Venus is think about your space. What seems beautiful to you, right? Libra is an air sign, so it is in the head, it is in the thinking, it is in the perception, but in how you perceive your space, especially in terms of angles, right? Do you like your desk on that wall? Does that make you feel beautiful? Does it make it feel like this space is really flowing? You know, or do you have some odd asymmetrical thing going on in your room or in your kitchen or something like that, and that is not working out because it's actually creating a mismatch of balance? Now, I know that that, I don't know, very, very, very little, but some of these are feng shui components and ideas as well. So if you're into that, feel free to comment in the comment section down below. What is this balancing and maybe not having so much asymmetrical stuff? What does that do for a room? Let us know that in the comment section down below. Either way, enjoy the charm and the brilliance of traveling with a magnetic, beautiful, attracting moon for the next couple days. When we get to Friday, okay, this is it. I really want to emphasize this. On Friday, starting at 3:44 p.m., going all the way to Saturday at 4:33 p.m. Colorado Mountain Time. This is a void of course moon time. Woo! When the moon is void of course like this, listen, when the moon goes void of course, we get a couple hours, maybe even a long one, and it's like, all right, that was a lot, and we're thinking, we're feeling through things. Things can feel a little off. You know, it's just something's not quite right. But when the moon goes void of course for an extended amount of time, it's like we have nothing to reflect back to us. So the head game can begin. Something's not right. I'm not right. It's not right. They're not right. And it can just get really massive pressure. Sometimes we can feel like I have all this pressure on me. What do I do? Right? Or nothing's happening. How come nothing's happening? Nothing I'm doing is working. And it can really go there. So if it does happen to you, first of all, I would like to call you back to say, hold on, we're in a void of course moon period. So first of all, this might be really normal for your experience. Second of all, if you can sleep without inducing sleep, that would be great. So if you can practice rest, or if you actually can just allow yourself to rest or to go to sleep, that would be really great. Now, the other thing I would really be thinking of is where you're at and what you're doing with other people, because absolutely nobody is exempt from this void of course energy. So I kind of have the vision of we're all like little zombies a little bit, you know, so other people, you can find that they're a little bit more pessimistic. So if you don't feel like you can take that on right now, that's not going to help you rest and refresh for the period of 24 hours. Just be mindful that this is genuinely what's in the air. Try to take as little personally as possible. Try to not blame people as much as possible. Just be. You'll have so much more clarity when we get to about the end of the day on Saturday, okay? Then we're going to see the moon right there at 4:33 p.m. shift into the vibration of Scorpio. Okay, so at least we're getting some reflection now. At least we're getting some connection, right? Because before, when it's just flat and there's nothing reflecting back to us, it can be like, what even am I, you know? And now we've got a little bit of movement, but the movement's still deep. It's really reflective. It's like, what are my motives? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What came up for me during the void of course moon time that subconsciously is showing me something that is motivating me and driving me, especially if it's something that I've been afraid of or a fear that I have or something like that. Now, other things as the moon's traveling through Scorpio, you know, what are the deep mysteries of the world? Do you want to watch a little crime drama? If that's what you're into, do it. You want to study astrology, have an astrology reading, do it. You want to study sexuality, sensuality, tantras, any of these things that are more taboo or kind of move towards the underworld where you have to really get below the surface before you can rise back up. This is a great time to do that check-in and to have those experiences. You know, this is interesting. This is coming up, like, just to share this with you, but when we come to Scorpio every month, we have a chance to really fall in a conscious way into the burnout so that we can make space for this really gorgeous rebirth in the next couple days. I mean, what comes from you, the intensity of who you can become in 2.5 days of this kind of reflection, I think are really, really profound. And that is the way that we are going to spend the weekend. We're going to spend it in some deep energy. Deep does not translate into bad. Deep does not translate into scary either. It simply translates into deep. Now, I also see here that we've got a little bit of the moon. We've got Pluto over here. Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius right now, so it's going to be in conversation with this moon as well when it comes in on that particular day. So we've got a moon connected to its ruler. That's not bad at all. However, what it could also bring to your attention is you're thinking not so much so deeply about yourself. It might not be that self-reflection, but you're thinking, how do I fit into the world that is to come? How do I fit into this new world now? How do I work now? How do I earn? What do I have control over? You know, sometimes because Pluto is an outer planet, we're thinking about things in our government and our communities and things like this. So if these are the things that are on your mind, you may be discovering information that you need and is very useful for you in order to grow as the moon progresses through Sagittarius. And now we can take what we've learned and expand that out. And we'll be working on that as we get into next week. All right, my beautiful friends, have a good week, okay? Have a reflective week. Please slow down, love on yourself, give yourself and give others a lot of grace this week because there's really a lot going on energetically that's pulling us backwards, and it can be really delicious. It can be such a beautiful practice, but also at a psychological level where we're dealing with so much stillness and so much of the energy being in the space of the underworld or uncertainty, it is not uncommon for humans to not feel a little bit fearful. So instead, we want to be informed, pack our emotional suitcases, our emotional psychological suitcases, and get ready to travel in a really delicious week, okay? All right, you guys, I love you. Check out this video next about that lunar return, and check out this video over here if you're not sure how to identify where this is at in your particular chart. And I'll see you in class in September. Bye, friends.